Greetings and welcome back to another episode of Modeling on the Fly with 3ds Max. In this video, I'm going to do my very best to try to wrap up this cannon over here on the side. Now, if we take a look at the picture I'm working off of, the next thing I'm going to build here is going to be this cylindrical piece that sits down here underneath. There are some things I want to do first, though. I need to grab this guy. Let's hit F4 so I can see edges. I want to grab this edge and this edge and this edge and this edge. Turn on my nemesis favorite thing, which is edge constraints. And if you've been watching this series, you know why it's my nemesis. And if you haven't, then, well, you should. So let's see. Let's turn off edge constraints, which I'm very proud of myself for turning that off, just so everybody knows. Now, I'm going to jump over to, say, the front view. Well, technically, I need the back view. Oh, well, whatever view. Let's, in fact, no view. Let's just do it all right here. Hey, who cares, right? Let's create a cylinder. Just random cylinder with some length. I don't really care about the rest. Now, we're going to rotate this guy. So let's turn on rotate snaps and 90 degrees. Thunk. There we go. Now, while it's still a cylinder, and before we make it an editable poly, there's some things I want to do. Now, if we take a look, this cylindrical shape starts to already taper in. I would call the dead perfect side of it to be right about here. And so it kind of starts to taper in before it stops and connects to this little raised area. So here's how we're going to do this. First off, I want a few more sides. I'd like to see some more dedicated rounding here. So let's go with 32. Yeah, that look pretty good. And let's see. We'll probably have to adjust some sizing and whatnot as we go, and that's okay. But let's kick this back. Slide it up a little bit. Probably about, well, that might work, actually, but I feel inclined to go down even further. So let's just go ahead and convert this over to an editable poly, and let's grab faces, and I'm going to get this face, and those look like they're directly across from one another. And we'll nuke those out. We'll grab this guy and nuke that out. And we'll grab this guy and nuke that out. Actually, whoa there, Zachary. Hang on. No, we don't want to nuke this guy. As a matter of fact, just to preserve this guy, I'm going to make an extrusion and click OK. Then I can actually take this one out and I'll be all right. Okay, scare myself for just a moment. Let's see. Now we need to add some thickness to the top of this. An easy way to do that. Let's do a couple of things first. Let me do an inset. And that's fine. Now I'm going to nuke that out. Okay, cool. So I'm happy with how that looks. Let's get an overall sense. Now, we could say it comes out to just about the end of this cannon. So if we were using that as a basis of comparison, I think that would work just fine. Now, here's an interesting idea. I have no idea if what I'm about to... quit saying that, Zach. We all know that you do stuff and you have no idea if it's going to work or not. So, let's grab this. I shouldn't be so hard on myself. Let's see. Let's grab... What to do? Let's... This'll work or it'll explode. And you're welcome to place bets. It's actually working. That's amazing. We just turn on edge constraints and then rotate and we get a nice version of that shape, but turn off edge constraints before you try to move it. So, booyah! Excellent. Now, with that, let's see here. Let's just grab this face and edge, excuse me, this edge and this edge, and let's bridge these to make a connection. Let's grab borders, and we'll just cap this. And we'll grab borders here, and we'll cap this as well. So that becomes a solid shape once again. We can take the whole thing and kind of butt it up against the underside of this, like so. Maybe scale the whole thing down just a little. Alright, and I don't really see too much going on here, but we could, let's see, we could hit 4, actually that's totally the wrong guy, I want this guy again. Grab faces, you know, Let's see, if we do an inset, probably about like so, and then just extrude that in by a tiny little bit, teensy amount. And then in world space or view space, whichever, we'll just slide that forward. Get a box, and then put like a box here. And let's convert that. Let's grab its edges, like so. And let's chamfer that. Copy that over, just because it looks nice. Now, back over here. We've got this little bit of an indentation, like so. Now that should be pretty easy for us to make. The way that I would probably do it, though, well, there's a couple of ways we could do it. One way, and actually here's probably the cheatiest, easiest, happiest way to do it, as far as I'm concerned. Let's get this object, hit 2, grab this, wring out the edges, slide this way back until it's right about to here. Now, let's convert that over to faces. Figure out where those grooves kind of need to be. A little lower than the perfect side of the thing. And then their size, I'm just going to take as being a little on the arbitrary side to whatever I think looks right. And then we'll just extrude this forward. And we instantly get a groove there, which is, of course, very cool. Now, if I grab borders, hang on, I'm trying to stick my head in there. And I suppose that's working. Oh, we're sticking through the back. Okay, well, no wonder. Alright, so that needs to come forward a little bit. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just pull this face back. So let's just take this and slide it that way. Alright, now, hit 3, grab this. Let's go ahead and cap this off. So that's no longer quite as messy as it was just a second ago. Let's grab edges. I want this and this. Come on, you. Let's see if I loop. That's pretty good. And loop. 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 And then, come on, we're so close. Boom, boom. Ah, come on, you. And, oh, we missed one. So there we go. That looks pretty good. Let's do a soft bit of chamfering. Okay. Now, here's where it gets cool. We get to start cheating. I love cheating. Let's get out of here. Let's grab this guy. And we're just going to duplicate it off. And we'll call this large cannon. Now, a couple of things here. First off, slide this way forward. Next, come back to this guy. Go back to vertices. All of this needs to go whoosh to about there. Then, it looks like we need to probably change proportion of this a little bit. And let's see, I think the way that I would handle this... Yeah, let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and just attach all this stuff together into just one shape and one shape only. Then I'm going to drop an FFD on it. Grab the control points of the FFD and slide these bad boys forward. And if we really wanted to get nasty, we could take these top guys and slide them back and change the whole angle of the thing. Is that getting too messy? Oh, well it is, but only because we forgot somebody. Alright, and we'll convert that over to a new editable poly. All I really want to do here is just grab these two little guys. Thank you. Slide them forward. Now there's no reference for those, I just thought they looked cool, so we stuck them in. Okay, now we can grab this group, and that can slide back in here like so. Now let's take this group and we'll open it. We're going to take this piece out. He's gone. Goodbye. And instead, we're going to make a brand new cylinder. Say right about here. Don't really worry about the overall thickness or anything right now. And I'm just going to create this interesting extended gun stick. So, let's start by moving this guy up here. Center it up pretty well. Could pull down the radius a bit. Convert to editable poly. Now, there we go. Thank you. Now, some polygons. Well, we can probably just start off by pulling this out. Okay, we go out to probably the leading edge of the thing. Now, it looks like the whole contraption, a whole kit and caboodle, can be slid forward quite a ways for us. But if we just assume that a lot of these sizes are fairly arbitrary, we can bevel this guy, like so, and then extrude. Oh, don't do that. Bevel, buddy. And then click OK. Then extrude. And give that just a little bit. And then bevel again. Now let's extrude once more, and this will be a nice long extrusion. Let's press F4 real quick. Click OK. Let's do a bevel with a positive outline amount, not much height. Apply, now a lot more height and more outline, and more height than that. And apply. Then let's narrow these back down. So that seems to come back down to a point, so we'll apply that. Come out and shrink down a ways. Apply, this time no height, just a bit of an inset. And apply negative height. And there we go. Now in the meantime, some other stuff we can do to make this look cooler. First off, it looks like we can go, let's just click OK there, let's grab vertices, and we can extend this a ways. I think these cannons can actually stretch out too, we'll get to that. And let's ring these, and let's make a connection. Two segments. Pinch them together, slide them back. Click OK. Let's press F4 so I can see these guys. Now U, and you know the drill, I'm sure. Ring. Let's do an extrude. Well, convert them to faces before we try to extrude so we don't get a polygonal explosion. As fun and entertaining as it is. Okay, and then we'll do a bevel, again by local normal. Alright, now back over here. We got just this one kind of thicker segment in here. So let's click OK. Let's go to edges. I want this edge, ring, connect. That's pretty close, but we'll go ahead and slide it in the other direction this time. And we won't pinch it up quite so much. Alright. Click OK. Now let's see here. Grab edges here and ring. Convert that over to polys. Do an extrusion. Click OK. Bevel. OK. And there we go. So now let's get out of editable poly mode. Let's hide away our wires. And there's what we have. Now, as I was saying earlier, I think these cannons can be extended quite a ways. So I had mirrored everything over. So let's just do this. Let's jump in, grab this guy, editable poly. I'll pull these. Oh, make sure you get everybody. So turn off ignore backfacing. Now, if we do snaps, and I snap this out, let's say 3 times, and be really slow with the snapping. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I love it. Love it, love it. So intuitive. Alright, cool. So there's 3. Now let's do the same thing over here. Ignore backfacing. 1, 2, 3. It's got to be in there someplace. Now, switch over to a top view. Yeah, looks good to me. Okay, so now let's go back over to perspective. Actually, those are... I hate to be all, I hate to be like that, but that now feels a little bit too long. So, let's see if we can go back just 1 snap on that. There we go. Now, 1, grab you, 1, grab... Okay, cool. That feels better to me. Alright, now a few things. We're still not quite done with this whole cannon thing we're building over here. We need a hinge. There's this great big hinge that kind of sticks through the whole thing. So, let's see. If I created a cylinder right here, and we don't need any snaps on, so let's make sure all that's off. So something about like so, some arbitrary amount of height, and what we want is for this to just kind of fit through, like so. And we want to increase the radius so it fits really snugly like this. Now if you wanted to use like a compound object and merge these together and start playing with edges, that'd be awesome. I'm not gonna, but you could. It'd probably look pretty nice. Alright, convert to editable poly. Let's get you. And let's just do this kind of fast. We'll do an inset to about here, click OK. Let's do an extrusion to about here, click OK. Do another inset to about here, do a bevel. Okay, do another inset. Okay, extrude. Okay, awesome. Now, F4, hit 2. We want edges, and we want this edge and this edge. We want this edge, not that one. And we can grab this guy just for good measure. Now we loop all that, run a chamfer, help that all look nice. Okay, now if we take a look through the pictures, here's what that kind of mounting piece looks like, because that's with the gun taken off so that we can see what's going on, which is very nice. Whoever did that, that was very kind of them. So it's just this kind of funny trapezoidal piece. So the way I'm going to build that is, let's just grab one of these horizontal, or actually technically it's perfectly vertical face. Let's create a box and just drag this out like so. It's going to have to be kind of big. Let's go ahead and convert it. Slide it over right about here. That's actually amazing. The positioning of that's pretty close to where it needs to be. Slide this up. Now I'm going to really carefully grab all these guys. And who did I miss? I missed you. And I missed you. And let's chamfer these. Like so. Grab the whole object. We're just going to kind of sink it right here into this guy. Actually, let's go, well, we'll get to that. I mean, what we really want to see here is some sort of ball-like mobility, like ball socket joint. So why don't we do that? Let's see here. If I grab all this stuff and all this stuff, and I slid that out a little ways, and then let's go back over here to this guy. We're gonna pull this out, grab borders. Actually, no. Let's not do what I'm thinking I'm gonna do real quick. Let's just rotate it and kind of fit it against the side. So about like so, sink it in a little ways. I think that'll work. Now, what I'm going to do is grab a sphere, and let's put it right about here. And you never see this connection anyway, so I'm just kind of building something that to me makes a little bit of sense, and we'll leave it at that. Boom. And just fit that on like so. So now let's slide it up a little bit as well. So now the whole thing looks like it could actually rotate around and do stuff, theoretically. Now, some other things. There's kind of a shot of this guy from the back, and we can see that he's got some sort of greebling back there. So let's just make some really fast greebling. And we'll go back to our extended primitives and use our chamfer boxes. And then we'll do another one here, like so. And, oh, you know what? It's those normals. Those lovely, 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 lovely normals. All right, convert that to editable poly, and whew, I know there's a modifier for this, but it's just the way I work. And, you know, clear, smooth. There you go. That'll work. Now, you know what? Let's just do this. We'll shift drag this out to an element. Scale down. Slide up and over and down. Okay. And then, let's see. Let's grab this guy. Make it a polygon. Let's do an inset. And then I'm going to scale this up, scale it in, slide it over. Then let's do a bevel. And there we go. Then, just for the fun of it, because nobody told me not to, let's get out of here. Let's grab this guy. Let's grab faces on him. Get this face. Let's do an inset here of a certain degree of thickness. And okay. And then let's do a little bit of an extrusion. Then we can grab edge, edge, loop, chamfer. Okay. We can get out of there, grab this piece, sink it in, and there you go. Okay, now the only other thing we've got left is this quintessential armor plate that sits off the edge of this thing. Also, it looks like that whole thing might slant a little, but you know what? Well, I don't know. We could probably make it slant. What do you think? You think we could? I think we could. And probably, let's see, an easier way to do that. Let's see, if I come in here and grab this, just these vertices, and oh, I've been sitting still too long. Let's grab an FFD. Let's grab some control points, and we'll just kick them back. Almost too easy. And we'll just make that kind of go inside with that. Now I'm double checking a few things here. Yeah, that kind of leans forward, and it's got that really weird sort of slant to it. So that's fine. We'll just go with that. Now let's get out of here. Let's convert this back over to a new editable poly, kind of like deleting history in Maya. Now, if I stick my head through here, and that's a little bit too far. Alright. Go to wireframe view. Get this guy. Pull him out. Go back to smooth with highlights. Now let's do an align to surface. You go to there. And that's fine. And then we'll just sink that in a little further. Let's go to local mode, slide it up a little ways. And there we go. Groovy, groovy, groovy. Alright, now this marvelous piece of funny, bendy armor. Oh, how do we want to do this? Well, let's build in a newer way. Something we haven't really done yet. What I'm going to do is go back to my standard primitives. And let's grab a plane. And I'm just going to build a plane here. Now, I'm just using that for the auto grid feature. So if you're wondering, why is it building it up there? Well, just because I really wanted that auto grid. It makes me feel fancy, like I'm cheating. Now, this thing kind of bends into two pieces, and each piece has got these little tiny windows that look all neat and stuff. So, let's start off by... Well, let's just make it up as we go. What do you say? Let's convert this over to an editable poly so we can play with it and do fun stuff with it. Let's grab this edge. I'm going to frame up on it. And we'll just pull it back, like so. So now there's both sides of it. Yeah, then let's grab this. Fail. Let's grab this and let's chamfer it to add a little bit of softening. Yeah, even maybe, we get all fancy with it, you know. So there we go with that. Now, let's do you and do a ring. And then connect those. Now, what happens if I pinch these? Nothing. What happens if I slide them? They move together. Well, that's worthless to me, but that's all right. Let's do an edge constraint scale. No. Scale only in Z? No. Alright, fine. I'll move them individually, because... Okay, so about like so. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, now turn off edge constraint before something terrible happens again. And then grab you, and we should be able to do an inset. Say to about there. Now, erg, and then click OK. Now I'll get you, and you, and you, and you, and we'll do another inset to the same amount, and click OK. Now, now this is where all stuff starts to get fun. If I get all of these faces, no, that's okay. We'll just deselect the ones we don't need. Thump, thump. There we go. Now let's do an extrusion. Well, yeah, there we go. So boom, and just a little bit of oomph, like so. Click OK, and we can do a bevel, so we don't have to do any chamfering later. A little bit of height. Pull that back. Click OK. Now, this is where it starts to get fun. If we take this guy and let's do local. Now, are we going to be able to move everybody on local? I think we can. Yeah, good. So that'll kind of thin that out. And the reason I want to do that is because I'm about to grab all of this back here. Let's hit borders, get you, and then let's just see. Well, actually, hang on. No. Let's do edges. So now switch this over to edges. All right, fine. If I grab this, use edges. Now let's loop. But I don't want this edge and I don't want this edge. Now let's see what happens if I bridge these. Perfect. That's exactly what I wanted to see, actually. Which never happens, as we all know. And then we've still got that selected, so we can do a little bit of a chamfer there to round that out. Ooh, hang on though. We should probably add these guys at this point. So now let's chamfer. And that looks, that's crazy. Pull down the amount a little bit. And then just, I don't know, for the fun of it, I suppose, let's grab you, and then you, and you. And we'll do an inset. And click OK. Now, let's see here. Let's grab edges. I want this edge and this edge. Let's do a ring. Convert that to faces. And let's do an extrusion, a tiny little extrusion, add a little bit of thickness here. And then just a little bit of a bevel, and that'll work. Now, this is the part where we start to get kind of fancy. First off, I think this plate probably needs to be bigger. So, let's jump over to vertices, let's take this guy, and we'll make sure that no constraints are on. No, they're not. Alright, fine. Oh, we're still moving in normal space. Haha. Let's just go to view space and stretch the whole thing out a ways. And then we can grab this guy and we can stretch this out a ways. Alright. And get out of there. Now we can rotate this and slide it around a little bit so it kind of fits there. Maybe take the whole thing and scale it up a bit. Because we kind of want it to cover up that hinge. That's what it's really there for, so that you don't lose mobility of your cannon. Now, with that in place and looking pretty good, we just need some way to attach it. So the way I'm going to do that is this. Let's grab this object, go to edges, give me this edge, and let me ring this. Now what happens if I connect this? What do we get exactly? Let's slide this back to, craziness, to right about here. Click OK. Now let's chamfer that, and that's OK too. Now let's grab faces here, 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 and here, And, well, actually, let's break it up a little bit. Let's do, say, 2 faces here, and we'll extrude these out. And these can go by group, that's fine, until they sink into the shape there. And then let's do a couple down here. Oh, make sure we click apply. And we'll do a couple down here that kind of do the same thing. Pull that in. We just want to see some sort of a connection. And click OK. Then, if you just really are dying to be fancy, who knows, maybe you are. Grab these guys. Let's do an inset. And we'll extrude that in. Click OK. And we need some adjustment here, so let's grab edges and edges. And view mode is not going to be of a whole lot of use to us, but maybe we can just do that. And that'll work. Because I don't need to see much. It doesn't need to be really pretty. We're not going to be jamming a camera in there. As long as I can tell that they're connected, I'm happy. But if I look at it from behind, I can actually see some sort of design work going on in there. Alright, so now if we take a look at our pictures, I think that's going to be about everything we need. I do want to do a couple of things to wrap up though. First off, let's grab everybody. Get out of editable poly mode. Grab everybody. And then let's drop on our material. And we need a great big group for everything. We need to close this group first. So group, close. Actually, you know what? Not to be overly picky, but let's just go ahead and explode that group. Make it go away, and then let's get out of there. I must have tapped the space bar without thinking about it. Let's explode this group as well. And then I'm going to make a selection here. We'll deselect over there, so it should just be these guys. Now let's make a new group. We'll call this aux cannon left. And that's the whole kit and caboodle. So now we can set over to world, use transform coordinate center, mirror, and make a copy. And this can be aux cannon right. Press F4. And there we go. So now we've got cannons on either side. They've got the little armor plates, and everybody's happy. That is going to wrap things up for this video. A big thank you to all of our member sponsors who make these free videos possible. And I will catch you guys on the next episode of Modeling on the Fly with 3ds Max.